What are these dots I always see around the edge of car, bus, and train windows? I think those are little sunshades to keep the sun from deteriorating the chemicals in the bonding seal. In other words, that rubber glue doesn't like sun. Bingo. The dots are for style. Flat, solid black is all that is needed, but the purpose of black trim on glass is to protect the adhesive from UV rays. Sometimes glass uses those black dots to create a shade band. The only example I can think of is the newer Genie telehandlers front windshields. What are these perfect sets of beach holes? Flip-flop for scale. I suspect someone was digging clams. This would be wildly illegal for a regular person to dig clams. The only way that's permitted on this beach is to use a 4-inch clam gun. Sides of the holes were perfect 90-degree cuts. It looked like a machine made these holes. You were right. I'm pretty sure this was scientists digging razor clams for science. Is that geoduck habitat? What can you do with geoduck? Are they edible? They're a delicacy in certain Eastern Asian countries. They go for big bucks. A friend of mine saw this in a house she was cleaning. Yes, those are teeth and JonBenet, and no, we don't live in Colorado. What is this? With the candles it looks like some kind of shrine for JonBenet. I don't understand the teeth though. They all have roots, so they're definitely adult teeth. Right, we thought about that, but the teeth are weird, and it seems like there is a blood clot, plus some green candles on the frame. It also has way more teeth than an adult or child's mouth could hold. If you look at the edges of the bird boxes you can see pencil lines. I'm thinking art project. At least one of the tooth photos is from the Wiktionary page tooth. I assume the others are from the internet as well. I also looked at a case page on JBR, and apparently her teeth were fine at autopsy, not knocked out or anything. That is some excellent sleuthing. In a multi-story car park, is it a passage for rats? There are also small holes in the floor and ceiling with a tiny ladder connecting them. The stairwells and lift lobbies of multi-story car parks are not usually areas where people pause to admire the architecture, so John Pym used this to his advantage. The model walkways and ladders replicate their full-scale counterparts and are a playful way of suggesting an alternative, unseen service industry at work within the building. Superficially mundane, some people may use the car park for years, without being aware of their presence, while others will notice straight away. The artist sees it as a reward for those who look more closely at their surroundings. That's it, thanks. I guess it is an art thing. Found in my aunt's treasure collection. Seems like a heavy metal weight inside. My friend found exactly the same thing washed up on the beach in the UK. It has 12 engraved on it though. Pick. This isn't dangerous at all. This is a tracker pebble used for tracking longshore drift. From the link below, site also has another image of one. This is not sea glass but a hard resin tracker pebble used along this piece of coast to track longshore drift. The pebbles have a serial number, are buried in a location and then refound further down the coast in the shingle by metal detector. The metal coil is included for this reason. Think this work is done by the Environment Agency, but I found out about it by talking to the warden at Burling Gap when there was a beach finds display on. What shoe has this print? My vehicles were stomped on this week. Is it the Nike Hyperdunk 2014? The pattern seems to be a match to me. How is knowing what the shoe is going to help you find who did it? I live in a tiny town and have some college kids that live a couple houses down from me. Though I might not be able to do anything about it, I can at least be a little more aware of what is going on around my house. I got a better idea. Post an flyer saying you will buy the sneakers in question for $500. Ha! A fish-like object found in a river. Is this stone or bone or? The fingerprints along the back suggest it was molded into shape. So maybe clay. Yes, I think it could be clay. Created object from rather fine clay. You can see this by the facets. Its sides are flattened where it lay on a surface to be decorated/fired. And those flattened spots are heavier where the decoration was pressed into the piece. Additionally, the teeth are exactly the same, evenly spaced. A tool made these indentations. Most telling, the areas along the spine that were pinched have less wear than the rest of the spine. This indicates compression of microscopic clay plates, increases density. The round thing on the bottom might be a maker's mark. Found in my grandfather's garage, they appear to be hand-stamped. These are the work of Kawais Hajui. The one on the left is titled, Kajaga Shrine in Nara, 1933. The one on the right is, Snow at High Shrine, New Year's Day, 1931. Edit to add these photos of my two Hajui woodblock prints. Colors are a little off. Solved. Thank you so much. A local bar found this giant wheel beneath the floor while renovating. Any idea what it was? The space was formerly a garage. Looks like an old turntable. Sounds about what I was thinking. Carriage turntable similar to what they use for trains. It's for turning cars around with limited space. The wheel would have a platform on it and could be used to rotate the car around. Old man in front of me at the bank was trying to exchange these for American currency because his wife was just put in the hospital for memory complications. They wouldn't take them, so I gave him $20 for both. Pretty sure they are not a real currency, just wondering what they are. The only thing I'm more terrified of than getting old is getting old and having no means to take care of my wife. Life can be cruel, and we owe it to the success of humanity to take care of each other. Good on you. Bless you, brother. As detailed below, Mark solved. These are trinkets from a Catholic relief agency. Given the fact that these were in their possession, he needed that $20 more than you. Karma plus. You get these free when you donate one time to some Christian Catholic charity. Source. My aunt now has a collection of 5 of them sorting through my dad's mail. Found this weird screw-looking thing whilst hiking in the Alps. This is a time delay fuse for an artillery or tank shell. I have one as a paperweight on my desk. Are the fuses, assuming a new, working one, themselves dangerous? I know a lot of fuses set off a small ignition charge, but do these? If so, would it be powerful? Obviously I'm not handling one in person like op, just curious how these things worked. Dude in my basic training platoon was assigned to disassemble a bunch of training grenades. He unscrewed one, held the fuse in his hand, pulled the pin, and was surprised to get his hand badly burned and cut. Artillery-like weapons are often used to trigger avalanches as a safety precaution, could be the remnants of one previously fired. This depends of course whether it was avalanche prone in the first place. Otherwise, the Swiss often do military militia service training in the Jura Mountains opposite the Alps. They probably do it in the Alps as well. Maybe it's something left over from this. Cat brought this in and I'm trying to keep it safe. What kind of rodent is it? Looks like a baby rabbit. Strongly suggest look for local animal rescue, since caring for baby bunnies are really tricky because they need to eat certain kind of poop. Not just any poop, not just any kind. Mommy rabbit generally drops wet poop by the nest for the babies to nibble on. Those contains more of undigested nutrients and some bacteria to get the baby's gut working. The dry poop mommy leaves behind are useless and generally are deposited elsewhere away from the nest. What are those things called? I think they're typical of Gothic architecture. Flying buttresses. They're there to transfer the weight of the roof outwards to stop the walls bowing and collapsing. Fun fact, the statues at the top are not just decoration. They add additional weight, making the construction more stable by moving the thrust line inwards. What is this big hole that is usually found on milk cartons? Weird, never seen this on any of the milk jugs in my area. This is actually a measure to keep the milk contained if it's suddenly dropped, or frozen. Makes the cap pop out if so. Took this picture from my airplane window on trip from DC to Las Vegas. Any idea what it is? It looks like a mineral mine. Solved. I googled and found this site. My dad just calls them his brass knuckles, but considering the engraving and slot, I think this could be the grip to a WWI trench knife. What are your thoughts? Definitely is the handle to an American trench knife. In fact, the US was the only country to issue trench knives. If it was a replica, I'd assume it to be more likely to have all the parts. Chances are that the thing is original, fell apart, and was purchased by him second-hand. Also, pictures I'm seen of M1918 depict spikes on the knuckles. Not sure if yours has those. If not, I would question the authenticity. I think it's probably a replica. They sell those knives all over at gun shows. Found at an estate sale. No one there knew anything about its origin. Was thought it was made from baby teeth, but had it inspected by a dentist. They are adult teeth, stored in its own small leatherette case. These are 100% denture teeth, not real human teeth. They are embedded in acrylic used for making dentures, probably made by a bored dentist, lab technician, or student. Source: dentist. I used to do shit like this. Seems likely. My grandfather was a dentist and made all sorts of crap, but he was a dentist in the 40s, so he used real teeth. Little rings with skulls carved into teeth, Halloween Bubba teeth, stuff like that. He was a legend. My uncle, an old biker, had a dangly earring made from a pulled wisdom tooth. It was wicked.